Hello, it's Bailey Leisure, and I'm back with another NFL video. It's here in my Week 11 NFL picks. Sorry for no Week 10 recap, but I only had time to do one video these next couple days, so I chose this one. So I hope you guys. Just start off with the picks. The first game, Packers versus the Seahawks. There's always history between these two teams. You know, years ago we had the infamous Fail Mary play, the NFC Championship game where the Seahawks came back down from 15 points. I think the last time these two teams played, the Packers did win. These are teams kind of in similar kind of records. Basically, kind of disappointing teams. Basically, the reason they're still in contention is because of their quarterbacks. For the Packers, obviously the great Aaron Rodgers, and for the Seahawks, Russell Wilson. So, and both are playing at Pro Bowl levels, despite the rest of their teams being a little bit disappointing. This is kind of a coin toss flip of a game, if you ask me. Hopefully this is a close game. We've seen a lot of bad Thursday night football games in the last couple of weeks. We've seen some blowouts, especially last week's game. I think this hopefully will be a close game. But I'm going to take the Packers in this one over the Seahawks. Bengals versus the Ravens. Both teams with similar records who are barely staying alive in the AFC playoff race. These were teams that were leading at points, leading the AFC North, but have kind of lost their last couple games or kind of been on a downward spiral in their last couple games. The Bengals are going to be without AJ Green. The Ravens coming off a bye week. I think that will be a factor, and I like the defense more, and I think the Bengals not having A.J. Green will be a big factor, so I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens in this game. Buccaneers versus the Giants. The Giants won last week on Monday Night Football. The Buccaneers have kind of been disappointing, kind of flipping back and forth between quarterbacks. It seems like Ryan Fitzpatrick will stay for the rest of the season as their quarterback. Both these teams have been pretty disappointing this year. But I really could take this is a coin flip game if you ask me, another one of those between two disappointing teams. I'll take the Buccaneers in this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants won this. Cowboys versus the Falcons, both 2-4-5 teams. Cowboys coming off a big win against an NFC East rival and the Eagles, and the Falcons coming off a very embarrassing loss to the Cleveland Browns. This is another one of these close games. I think the factor in this game will be the running game and how the quarterbacks play. I like the Falcons at home a little bit more, even though I could see the Cowboys winning this game. But I like Matt Ryan. I think he'll have a big week in this week, and I'll take the Falcons. Panthers versus the Lions. Panthers, despite being one of the hottest teams in the NFL, they were destroyed on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers last Thursday, and so they're going to be trying to get that bad taste out of their mouth. Against the Lions, I think Cam Newton, I think he'll have a bounce back game. That whole team will, especially that defense, and I think the Panthers will win. Steelers versus the Jaguars, rematch of last year's AFC divisional game. Both these two teams played each other twice last year, once in the regular season and once in the playoffs. The Jaguars won on the road both times. So the Steelers will be looking for a little bit of revenge. The Jaguars have probably been one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL this year, and I don't know what to say. I think the Steelers this time around, I think their defense looks better going into this game. Offensively, better quarterbacks, just a better team overall, if you ask me. And the Steelers have been on a good winning streak right now, so I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Texans versus the Redskins. Both teams, I don't think at this point in the season you would have expected to be 6-3. The Texans have won 6 games in a row. The Redskins have been winning a pretty weak division considering the Eagles have been pretty disappointing. The Cowboys have underachieved, and the Giants have looked terrible. This is at Redskin, or this is in This is a home game for the Redskins. Excuse me. I think this will be a pretty competitive game. I think the big factors in this game will be the running backs. I think the big difference and the reason I'm going to take the Texans over the Redskins in this game is I think DeAndre Hopkins, I think he'll have a big game this week, and he'll be a big reason why the Texans win. Titans versus the Colts. Titans coming off a big upset against the New England Patriots, and the Colts have kind of been doing a lot better than their star thanks to Andrew Luck. This is, two teams kind of trying to get back in playoff contention, with the Colts being 4-5 and the Titans being 5-4. I think this will be a pretty good. It's another one of these pretty good matchups. But you know what the Titans were able to do against Tom Brady and shut that offense down, I think they are very capable of doing that against Andrew Luck, containing him. And I think they'll do that, and I think the Titans will win this game. Broncos versus the Chargers. The Broncos have been one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL this year. Case Keenum has definitely underachieved coming to Denver after leaving Minnesota and having an unbelievable career year last season. The Chargers have been one of the hottest teams in the NFL, and they'd probably be leading any other division if it wasn't for the Kansas City Chiefs. But the Chargers, I think they have a better quarterback. I think their defense has played really well recently. I like Phillip Rivers over Case Keenum, so I'm going to take the Chargers over this. Two of the worst teams in the NFL this season, the Raiders versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Raiders have just been really, really bad. The Cardinals have not been too much better. I think the Cardinals probably are coming off a better game. The fact that they play one of the top teams in the NFL and they only lost by 12 points in the Kansas City Chiefs. This is at home. I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one. I don't think there's that much to say about Eagles versus the Saints, the defending Super Bowl champions, going after a very disappointing loss at home against the Dallas Cowboys, are going up against one of the hottest teams in the NFC right now, probably the team to beat in the NFC, the New Orleans Saints. And, I think this is a really great quarterback matchup between Carson Wentz and Drew Brees. And I think the big difference in this game is I think just the Saints are a better team overall. I think Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, I think they'll have big games. I think Drew Brees will do very well in this game at home, as he has done ever since he's joined New Orleans about 12 years ago. So I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints. The Sunday Night Football matchup will be the fight for the NFC North, the Vikings versus the Bears. The Bears were up and down. Now they've kind of balanced out, and they're off to 6-3. The Vikings are 5-3-1, coming off a bye after beating the Detroit Lions. I think this is a kind of a coin flip game. I could have taken either one, but I think Mitchell Trubisky's played a lot better recently, and I like him a little bit more over Kirk Cousins. I think these offenses are pretty equal, as well as kind of the defenses. But I think the big difference in this game, I think the two players that will put the Bears over the Vikings will be Mitchell Trubisky and Khalil Mack. I think they will definitely be the big difference in this game, and I think that's why the Bears will beat the Vikings. And then a great Monday Night Football matchup. This used to be the fight for Missouri, but since the Rams moved from St. Louis a couple years ago, it's now between the Rams and the Chiefs. This game was supposed to be played in Mexico City, but unfortunately, because of bad field conditions, this game was moved to LA. So you never know. This could be the Super Bowl, a preview of Super Bowl 53. You never know. But this is going to be just a great quarterback matchup, great running backs, great receiving cores, just good offenses, and I think this is going to be a pretty high-scoring game. I think this will be somewhat close, but I'm going to take the Rams in this one just because I think the Rams' defense is just way, way better than the Chiefs right now. The Chiefs have had some injuries on defense, and it's kind of been their Achilles heel this year, even though they're not off to they've only lost one game so far this season. But I'm going to take the Rams at home. And that's it for my video. As always, follow me on Twitter at BaileyLaser96. If you like the video, click like, subscribe, and leave your comments below on who you all think will win in Week 11 of the 2018 NFL season, though. So thanks, everybody, for watching, and I will see you all later.